Genetic analyses suggest that the claim that 1 in every 200 men is related to Genghis Khan may not be as strong as previously thought. The findings shed light on the genomic background of Mongol Empire rulers, revealing that the Golden Horde elite descended primarily from ancient Northeast Asians, with contributions from ancient North Eurasian or Scythian-related populations such as the Kipchaks. Genetic evidence found in both local folklore and royal tombs in present-day Kazakhstan has illuminated the region's ties to Genghis Khan and the Mongol Empire. A new DNA analysis of the ruling elite of the Golden Horde, a northwestern extension of the Mongol Empire, has yielded significant implications for the genetic origins of the wider Mongol Empire. The findings were published in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. While the genetic landscape of Central Eurasia in the Middle Ages is already known thanks to previous studies, we believe this is the first ancient DNA evidence supporting the genomic origins of the ruling elite in the Golden Horde, says Iken Askapuli, the lead author of the study. According to this widely held claim, based on a genetic study, approximately 1 in every 200 men living in Asia, around 16 million worldwide, share a common ancestor identified by Y chromosome analysis and linked to Genghis Khan. However, this ratio is linked to his lineage rather than directly to Genghis Khan himself. 16 million descendants. A large-scale genetic study conducted in 2003 revealed that approximately 16 million men living in and around Central Asia share the same Y chromosome variation. Y chromosome tracking. The phrase, 1 in every 200 men, is used because this study relied only on the Y chromosome, which is passed from male to male. Genetic transmission in women is not included in this calculation. The meaning of social selection in the context of Genghis Khan is clear. The Mongol Empire was the personal property of the Golden Family, Genghis Khan's family. More specifically, this family consisted of the descendants of Genghis Khan's 4 sons, Hochi, Chagatai, Ogday, and Tului, from his first and primary wife. Just as descent from gods in classical world mythology or from the House of David in medieval Christian monarchies was important, in the centuries following the rise of the Mongol Empire, descent from Genghis Khan became a necessary prerequisite for becoming a ruler in much of Asia. Genghis Khan was not seen as an ordinary figure in the Mongol Empire. He possessed a godlike status. For example, in the Secret History of the Mongols, a 13th century text, it is recounted that the god Zarin showed a vision to someone named Korchi of a cow mood. According to this narrative, the cow mood, the earth and the sky have decided to make Temujin the lord of the nation. According to the same text, Genghis Khan's ancestors 23 generations ago were a female deer and a male wolf, and Temujin descended from these animals. We also know that Genghis Khan and his relatives made a special effort to spread this lineage they considered powerful. For example, when Marco Polo visited the Mongol Empire, he saw that Genghis Khan's grandson, Kublai Khan, had a harem of 10,000 women. According to his account, Kublai's concubines would have sex with him and serve him in groups of 6 for 3 days at a time. These women were changed every 3 days. Look, this can no longer be seen as just a pastime. The Mongols were trying to establish a genetically based dynasty. This situation was also reflected in the socio-politics of the time. Today, we see such things in behaviors like nepotism for positions of power, but if you were, for example, 600 years ago, in the steppes of Central Asia, teetering between life and death every day, things like who you knew, who you could influence, and the number of followers you had would truly determine whether you survived or not. For example, the Dzungar Khaganate, whose members were also Mongols, was not protected by its neighbors who were descendants of Genghis Khan simply because they were ruled by people who were not descended from Genghis Khan, and they were destroyed by the Qing Empire. In short, being descended from Genghis Khan determined the line between life and death, and this lineage was a matter of pride. We see a similar phenomenon in the Middle East with the Sayyids, who claim to be descended from the Prophet Muhammad. Speaking of Sayyids, it is also worthwhile to take a look at the admiration for Genghis Khan in Islamic societies. The Golden Horde was founded and ruled by Hochi, Genghis Khan's eldest son, and his descendants. According to local folklore, one of the 4 tombs analyzed for this study belongs to Hochi himself and contains his remains. The other 3 tombs examined in this study belong to other ruling elites of the Golden Horde and provide evidence of the blending of Mongol cultural practices with local culture. Inspired by this, Askapuli and his archaeologist colleagues in Kazakhstan decided to investigate whether these narratives were accurate, in collaboration with researchers from the National Institute of Genetics in Japan. Askapuli says, it's actually a bit like forensics. By analyzing their genomes, we determined that the ancestors of these 4 Golden Horde individuals extended to the Mongolian plateau. We saw evidence that their Y chromosomes were part of a branch of the C3* cluster. About 20 years ago, researchers traced DNA fragments on the Y chromosome, called the C3* cluster, back to people who lived in the Mongolian plateau during the Middle Ages. Today, many people across Central Eurasia carry this C3* cluster in their genomes. Some researchers have suggested that one reason for the widespread presence of the C3* cluster may be the vast area of control of the Mongol Empire. This even fueled the popular belief that 1 in every 200 men was related to Genghis Khan. However, Askapuli and his colleagues' data points to a more complex possibility. While they found evidence of the C3* cluster in the genomes of ruling elites, it appears to be much less common in the genomes of modern individuals. With ancient DNA results, we can distinguish between closely related but not identical genomic branches. What Askapuli found in the Golden Horde ruling elites is a branch of the C3* cluster. But it's not as widespread as the larger branch, says John Hawks, a co-author of the paper. This raises the question: what genetic branch, if any, was present in Genghis Khan's genome? It's logical that the ruling elite of an empire would share a similar genomic background. If the Golden Horde was founded by descendants of Hochi, could the genomes of these elites have been similar to that of the famous ruler? Until Genghis Khan's own burial place is found, researchers cannot say for sure. However, thanks to collaboration between the University of Wisconsin-Madison and researchers from Kazakhstan and Japan, scientists now have a better idea of what the genome of the ruling class might have looked like. This opens up more avenues for them to investigate. Askapuli plans to continue this work, likely aiming to better reveal the genomic connections of the region over time, using modern genome data and advanced techniques. In short, the claim that Genghis Khan managed to scatter his genes among 1 out of 200 men is highly questionable and most likely entirely false. Of course, the only evidence that would end all this debate would be finding Genghis Khan's tomb, because we do not have Genghis's genome. Therefore, all studies try to reach the ancestors through the descendants. However, reaching the descendants through the ancestors is much more accurate and easier. Unfortunately, we may never find this tomb, because Genghis Khan and his close relatives bequeathed that the place where they were buried should remain unknown. It is even said that, to prevent the secret from being revealed, anyone who saw the soldiers going to Genghis Khan's burial site was killed, and then 1,000 horses were driven around the lands surrounding the burial site to erase all traces. 9. Therefore, Genghis Khan's burial place is unknown, and despite so many archaeological excavations to date, the burial site has never been found. And perhaps the most terrifying thing is this: this story isn't just an event from the past. Human history has shown us the same thing time and again. When power, ambition, and fear come together, even the greatest cities can be destroyed in a few days. The civilizations that stand today are built upon what was once thought indestructible. And who knows, perhaps even the world we live in now will be remembered in the future only as a ruin, a legend, a warning. History records not only the winners but also the vanished. And sometimes, the greatest lessons come from the greatest destruction. If you are interested in such true stories, remember, each video is actually a door to the past. And behind that door, there are countless secrets waiting to be discovered. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because there are many more stories to tell, and some are much darker than what you've heard.